mozzarella makes the bruschetta mo better. We're going to make some bruschetta today.
Being in my kitchen, cooking a great meal, my love for writing, expressing thoughts and ideas that connect on a heart level, sharing how I feed my body and how I feed my soul. I'm Marquita Moore, and this is how I cook today.
So, I got some nice tomatoes from the farmer's market, and I want to do something with them besides make sauce or use them for sandwiches. I want to make some bruschetta. And these tomatoes smell really good. I remember my mom telling me when she was growing up, she used to go and just pick tomatoes off the vine and just, like an apple. I was like, I don't understand it. But back then it was just probably, the farms in Alabama, I'm sure that it just was already salted. Everything was in that tomato. It just tasted like it was like salt, olive oil, everything in that bite. She's like, I used to eat them like an apple. I'm like, okay, but I get it. So I'm going to start by scoring these and dropping them in a hot pot of water for a minute just to blanch them. All right, I'm going to put a shallow thing in here. I like the way, that might have been a little bit too deep, but the hot water peels these tomato skin. I think when I started making bruschetta, I didn't do this part, but I'm gonna do this. This is such a good, I'm hungry, but not that hungry, tasty meal. 1, 2, 3, I guess that's good. I'm gonna take these over to the pot and get them blanched, and then I'm gonna take these tomatoes and I'm going to squeeze the water and the seeds out. So I'm gonna take off the hard part. One of the things that I really had to begin to realize notice was how I was being dishonest with myself about things. I put my focus and attention on being honest with other people and doing those things, but not how I was truly feeling, right? If I was truly hurting and being honest about that and not saying, no, I'm fine, I'm okay, everything's okay, knowing that I'm dying inside, right? Or not being honest with when someone hurt me, and being able to say, no, that was wrong. I felt like that was wrong. This really hurt me. Or how I even hurt someone else, right? Like being honest enough to say, you know what, that was wrong of me, and I'm sorry. Being able to clean my heart in that way, and be honest about those things that was lacking for me, and I really had to. That was a key part in me being able to really feel, right? Because a lot of times we aren't honest with ourselves because we don't want to feel certain things, right? We don't want to feel rejected or ostracized or disregarded. For me, it was not that I was intentionally being dishonest, but I thought that I had to be a certain way in order to receive the things that I wanted, whether it was love or acceptance or whatever it is. And really not being true to myself in that regard. Like, oh, okay, I can do this. It's not going to hurt me to do this, but is it really what I want to do? Maybe not, but the fear I had with not being loved or not being accepted overrided my need to be true to myself, right? And on top of that, I always thought that everybody else knew more than me. Even if my intuition was screaming at the top of its lungs, like, you should do X, Y, and Z, I didn't have enough courage inside to do that. I kind of just went along. And I suffered tremendously with my identity with doing that, just going along and doing whatever someone else wanted me to do, and really knowing that I didn't want to, or knowing the better way, but not having the courage to say, no, I'm not going to do that, because I was so afraid of being abandoned or isolated or ostracized for choosing what I knew my heart wanted to do. And that is not being honest with myself. And a lot of times we don't look at being honest from that angle, from that vantage point. Man, I remember I went to a seminar, and it was a room full of people, and I don't know what happened. Normally I would sit in the wings, and I sat in the back, and I wouldn't say anything. I just kind of observed. But I was so, something told me to get up. So I got up and I said, you know what? I just realized how disloyal I have been to myself, to my own heart. I realized how I've been cheating myself. I've been cheating on myself. Infidelity was running rampant on my own self, on my own heart. And I didn't even think about it. I wasn't even thinking about how disloyal I was being to me. Every time I let my own needs fall to the wayside. Every time I said yes when I wanted to say no, or every time I said no when I wanted to say yep, it just created this whole cycle of also being indecisive, of being unsure and uncertain. It's just the calamity that's created from not being honest with your own heart, the fallout from not being honest with your own heart. after doing that for so long, you become a shell of who you are, and you don't have a true touch point on the things that you love in life or you like in life. You know what I mean? It's like I remember a point in my life where I couldn't tell anybody what my favorite color was or what my favorite food was, because I had just kind of gone along so much with other people's the things that they love that I didn't. Dishonesty with yourself creates such a divide um, inside. It creates such a fracture inside, and then you start not to trust yourself, you know, and then you hide, and then you start pretending. Then I also noticed, like in my prayer life, how I would hide even in that regard, like not be completely honest in that respect. Like it's just a whole man. Being honest with yourself, and learning how to do that after spending so much time going along it's frightening too, because you're like, what if I do finally do something for me, and that I don't there's a word that I'm looking for that I cannot find, that I don't acquiesce. Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. That I don't acquiesce and kind of just like the betrayal that you don't see those small instances of betraying yourself, that even acquiescing and going along creates these small fractures and within yourself, that it's just kind of like, oh man, I wish I had the strength to like say, yes, I'll do this, or no, I don't want to do this. I never stopped to think about being honest to me being honest to my own heart, and having an honest estimate of my feelings and what that looked like, and how that required me to treat me. You know, am I being honest about how I'm feeling? If I'm hurting, if I hurt someone else, like really, that level of honesty is really required. And I always say that, like what's required, but what's required to live a life that is aligned to light, to truth. Being honest with yourself is everything, right? Because me thinking that, I'm being honest with other people, am I? I think that I was only honest at a level that I could really be honest with myself, even in the small things, right? I think that honesty, authenticity, living aligned to truth, and not just my truth, but truth, all those things require honesty, and being okay and not being afraid to be transparent, and not feeling like you would suffer or sacrifice something by telling the truth about how you feel about something, and it never occurred to me back then when I was younger that I was doing something detrimental to my soul by doing something that my heart didn't want to do. And I think we're good to go. Just put a little bit of Maldones on it, just a tad, and I'm going in. I want this one right here. This is the one I want. is so good. Listen, the tomatoes are from the farmer's market, and they do taste a bit salty, even though I added salt to it. But to be able to infuse a tomato with flavor, it's hard. If I was doing charades, it would be, the food tastes so good. So good. This is something that I wrote to leave you with until the next time. Trust the quiet times. Trust the times alone. Trust the letting go and the holding on. Trust what leaves. Trust what stays. Trust the no's and believe the yeses. Trust the delays. Trust when things go good. Trust, trust, trust.
Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, be good to yourself. Eat well, be well, and most importantly, love well.